So now that friends, we have seen how the poverty was caused, what the government is doing for the removal of poverty. Now we will see the strategy to remove the poverty in detail, more detail, right? We have already seen the direct attack on poverty, which was mentioned in the budget 2015-16. So friends, it is not that you don't know what the government is doing. You already know. You already have so much understanding, so much knowledge about the anti-poverty schemes. But when it comes to scoring good marks, should we directly mention the government scheme? What should be the approach? So friends, here I will bring to you a very, very important aspect, that is, we need to develop the perspective. We need to bring to the examiner the unique points, right? We need to give the perspective. Again, I am re-emphasizing this point. When I say the perspective, I don't mean something you need to create from your own self. Rather, what I am saying is all the minor points you need to bring under the major points. For example, don't mention the different schemes as different point. Rather, categorize those schemes into different categories. Some scheme is for social security, some schemes are for food, some schemes are for health, some schemes are for livelihood. So all those schemes should be classified separately. Then we also need to see how the government is changing its approach. So we need to write the approach related points also. So if you need to score good marks, you don't need to write more number of points. You need to write right points, broad points, and you can mention the small government schemes as the evidence of these broad points, right? So this is what I want to say, that especially in those areas where you have so much of knowledge, you have been studying for years, how can you maximize the marks? The only way is that you develop the perspective. You should write the heading in such a way that reflects any broad perspective, any broad area, right? So now when we discuss the government strategy, we will discuss from that point of view only. So that is the point I wanted to make to you. So now we will see the different perspectives. As I just discussed, that we need to see the different perspectives, and from that perspective we need to link with the government scheme. So the first perspective is the ease of living. Ease of living. The government is promoting the ease of living on the lines of ease of doing business. So the first scheme under the ease of living is Ujjwala scheme, under which the government is providing free LPG connection to the BPL families. Then we have Saubhagya scheme, where the free household electric connections are being provided to the BPL families. Then we have Jan Aushadhi scheme, where the generic medicine stores are being opened under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras. Then we have housing for all scheme, so that one roof can be provided to each individual. And then we have Ayushman Bharat, which is talking about the health needs, the health insurance. So all these schemes are providing the foundation for the ease of living. This ease of living word was introduced by the budget 2018 and 18-19. So friends, let me tell you, whenever there is any specific source which you know, for example, we know that this ease of living concept was introduced by the budget 2018-19. So in such type of cases, you can directly mention the source in your notebook. So in that way, you can impress the examiner that we have the evidence from where this point is coming, and this point is authentic also. So friends, don't worry, you can't create anything new. You can only have a collection of best possible things that already exist, which have been created by the government, which have been created by the experts and academicians, and you need to appreciate and quote those points in your answers, right? So whenever you find a source, please mention that source. That makes your answer more authentic. Now coming back to this point, so ease of living was introduced by the budget 2018-19. Then rights-based framework. So why this rights-based framework? As we discussed that because of the failure of poverty alleviation programs, the people have been converted from the empowered people to the dependent people. So now we want to empower the people. We don't want them to make dependent. They are the people who elect the politicians and for whom the civil servants are having the service. So they have the rights. They are the sovereign. So this rights-based approach is focused for converting the people from dependent to the empowered. And under this framework, there are various schemes which are working. For example, we have National Food Security Act. So this is working for the food. We have Right to Education Act. This is providing for the education, which is the foundation for any good human wealth in the economy. And similarly, we have MGNREGA, where the people have right to get employment in the rural areas. So this rights-based framework ensures that no one is left behind and they are the empowered people. We have already discussed direct attack on poverty, where we saw that everyone should have one roof and every house should have toilet, electricity connection and LPG connection. Every house should be connected to the road. So all these facilities will attack on the poverty directly. Then we have livelihood security initiatives. So under the direct attack on poverty only, we say that each family should have at least one member which is who is gainfully employed and who is having the livelihood security. So to ensure that, we have Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, which is a combination of two schemes, National Urban Livelihood Mission and National Rural Livelihood Mission, and which was combined into the National Livelihood Mission. And now this National Livelihood Mission has been converted into the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. And the purpose of this scheme is to provide employment skills, self-employment support in the form of subsidies, as well as it also supports the self-help group by providing them the loan support, etc. So this Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana is one of the very, very important scheme. Right? Now, next is the Mission Antyodaya. This Mission Antyodaya is a wonderful initiative because this, first of all, this is not a scheme, this is a mission. And there is no separate allocation of fund for this mission. So how this mission works? For this mission to work, every, we have selected 50 gram panchayat. Those gram panchayat with 50,000 gram panchayat which are having very high poverty level, right? So each of those 50,000 gram panchayat, they will converge all the existing schemes and ensure that all the schemes are implemented in the converged manner so that there is no duplication. And secondly, there is a well-defined parameter which is taken care of, and accordingly the performance is evaluated. So this Mission Antyodaya is targeting the removal of 50,000 gram panchayat which have 1 crore household to alleviate those people out of the poverty. Then MGNREGA we have already seen. So this is for the livelihood security. The next perspective is the replacement of Planning Commission by the Niti Aayog. This is very much required because when we have good policy making body, the policy also become very good. This Niti Aayog is working on the innovation through Atal Innovation Mission, SETU and many more initiatives. It is working on the decentralized planning. Decentralized planning how? For example, recently the government has started focusing upon 100 aspirational districts
100 aspirational districts. So now the government is focusing upon these high focused districts. So this makes the planning decentralized, because those districts will prepare their own plan so that their poverty can be eliminated, their development can be ensured, and that plan will be converged into the national plan. So Niti Aayog is involved into the decentralized planning. We are also involving the states through the cooperative and competitive federalism. As I discussed in the Niti Aayog lecture, that now Niti Aayog is involving the states with the help of governing council and the regional councils. When they are involved, they are implementing the centrally sponsored scheme in a better way. And similarly, the 14th Finance Commission has increased the share of states from the 32% to the 42%. This enhancement of share by the 14th Finance Commission also empowers the states to implement the government schemes, especially the centrally sponsored scheme, in much more better way. The next perspective is the minimum government, maximum governance. Now government is saying that we don't need much people, we don't need much schemes, we don't need much ministries. Let us trim down, because that creates duplication, that creates lack of accountability. So now the government is working on converging the schemes, it is working on converging the ministries, and as part of that only this convergence of schemes like NULM, NRLM into NLM, and many more schemes has taken place. And also this minimum government, maximum governance is working through the help of Pragati. Pragati is an online government scheme implementation monitoring system. And similarly, this socio-economic caste census is also working in this way. Socio-economic caste census is providing a very well established data so that the beneficiaries don't lose out their benefits, right? So this is how the minimum government, maximum governance is working. So now let us revise quickly. The first perspective is ease of living. The second perspective is the rights-based framework. Then we have direct attack on poverty. Then we have the livelihood security. Then we have Niti Aayog, decentralized planning, and then we have minimum government, maximum governance. The next initiative is regarding the social security. So social security, first is in the form of insurance. The government has provided this facility with the help of Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, which ensure that at a payment of few rupees, everyone has an insurance of 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees at the time of their disability, during the accident, or maybe at the time of their death. Then it also they have also provided the pension through the Atal Pension Yojana, and the national pension scheme reforms are going on. Then financial inclusive initiatives are there, especially in the form of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and also the JAM, Jan Dhan Aadhaar and mobile platform, which will ensure the direct benefit transfer takes place and there is least divergence of the funds, least leakage of the fund. So these insurance, pension and financial inclusion, these three initiatives are working to ensure that social security is provided to each and every individual, especially those people who are dependent. Then agriculture sector is one of the major sector which needs to be reformed. And the budget 2018, again budget 2018, it introduced the concept of agriculture as an enterprise. So agriculture should not be seen just as an occupation. When we see the agriculture as an enterprise, we can attract the youth. What is the meaning of agriculture as an enterprise? Enterprise is something which produces a profit. So let us make agriculture a profit-making enterprise, profit-making work. And how is that possible? When we ensure two things. One thing is the farmers get very good prices, and second thing is we increase the land agricultural productivity, right? One thing is in the form of good prices, and second thing is the good agricultural productivity. they can get good prices with the help of MSP, which has been increased by 1.5 times. And also they can get good prices with the help of different agricultural marketing reforms which are being taken care, and they can increase the agricultural productivity with the help of schemes like land leasing, land leasing law, land bank, the initiatives like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, etc. And finally, the government has also introduced Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana. It will provide direct benefit transfer to the farmers so that they have sufficient income and are not dependent on the money lender. They are not making suicides because of the crop failures, etc. So friends, as I discussed earlier also, we don't need to mention the schemes. We need to mention the perspective, and inside that perspective we can mention one or two schemes. So when I am providing all these points, don't worry friends. You can just mention these 6 points and maximum till here, till 7th point, that your answer will be complete. I am providing the maximum point so that if you forget one of these points, you can remember this point. Or if you are writing essay, then you don't have shortage of points. So even if you write these 6 points, your answer is complete. And the most important thing, again I'm telling you, is the perspective. Mention the perspective. Your heading should have perspective. That will make your answer unique and different from others. That is how you can score 140 plus marks. Don't mention the scheme. Scheme should be mentioned only as an example. Okay, now coming back, the next perspective is the job for all. Jobs for all can be in the form of one, the wage jobs, and second, the self-employment. So for the wage-based job, the government is working on leather and textile industry, because these are the job-intensive sectors. When these sectors perform in a better way, then automatically the number of jobs are created. And also aspirational skill center, which are providing the skills at the district level. For the self-employment, the government is working through the Mudra Yojana and the Startup and Stand Up India, which are providing the hand-holding support through the various measures. So friends, these are the important perspective. Apart from this perspective, you can have many more points, so that's not an issue, right? You can have more points, but these are the minimum points you should mention, at least these 6-7 points. Finally, the budget 2018-19, again this budget is very important. This budget 2018-19 mentioned that the government strategy is to focus upon the future of the India. This future is an acronym which says F for farmer, U for underprivileged. Underprivileged include children, senior citizen, the disabled people, the tribal people, the scheduled caste people, and the women. Technology and transparency. Technology in the form of digital India. Urbanization, smart city, rural development, and finally E. E stands for employment, entrepreneurship, and education. So friends, when you mention all these schemes in a very crisp manner, without diluting your points, you will get very good marks.
So now we will see what should be the strategy to eliminate the poverty in India. So friends, for eliminating the poverty, twofold strategy is required. One is we need to have good amount of resources, and second is we need to disperse those resources to the poor people with the help of good anti-poverty programs. Now, the good resources can be collected only we have good economic growth, right? And good dispersal of those resources to the poor people can be done only when we have effective programs, effective government schemes. So Niti Aayog focused on these two aspects. So the first aspect is employment intensive sustained rapid growth. Why employment intensive? So employment intensive because when a person gets good employment and that leads to the good wages and good income, the purchasing power of the person increases. The person can get access to the minimum basic facilities and live a dignified life. So it will eliminate the poverty. And how sustained rapid growth can help? Sustained here means ecologically friendly. Rapid means double digit, and growth means economic growth, that is increase in the GDP. Sustained rapid growth can help by providing the good amount of taxes. When industry grows, service sector grows, the agriculture sector grows, then ultimately the taxes increase, and when taxes increase, it results into the more expenses on social welfare programs, right, which ultimately leads to the removal of poverty. Now, how this growth can be ensured? So to ensure this growth, we have to focus upon the agriculture sector, and we have to focus upon the industry and the service sector. In the agriculture sector, again, we have to increase the agriculture productivity with the help of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, with the help of genetically modified crops, with the help of the organic farming, that is Pradhan Mantri Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, with the help of schemes like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, right? Then we have to focus upon the improvement in remunerative farming. This can be done with the help of e-NAM, with the help of MSP 1.5 times, and with the help of contract farming, right? Then we need to extend the green evolution to the eastern India and to the rain-fed areas. In 1960s, we brought the first green evolution, which has ensured the success in a pocket of India, not in entire India. We need to reform the tenancy laws. We need to ensure that small and marginal farmers have the sizable land with the help of land leasing law. Disaster relief with the help of Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Then coming to the industry and service sector, these sectors can ensure double digit growth, because in the agriculture sector the growth rate can't exceed 5%, right? In the industry, we need to focus upon the organized labor intensive sectors, for example food processing sector, tourism sector, leather and footwear industry, textile industry, retail industry, small and light electric equipment manufacturing industry. So all these industries are very labor intensive, right? Then we need to focus upon the coastal employment zone. This is a new concept which have been highlighted again and again by the Niti Aayog. And Niti Aayog is saying that those industries which are exiting from China, because the wages is increasing in China and the labor force is decreasing in China because of the one-child policy, the export-oriented large firms, they can be established in the coastal areas of India. And when they are established, we can have the benefit not only in the form of establishing big industries, but also supporting the micro, small, medium industries, because these big industries will be getting the inputs from the small industries also. So MSME will also develop with the help of the economy of agglomeration, right? So this is also one of the strategies. So we need to focus upon the agriculture, industry and service, and the CEZ, coastal employment zones. CEZ. Second perspective. Now coming to the second perspective, making the anti-poverty schemes more effective. So once we have the resources from all these initiatives, we need to make the anti-poverty schemes more effective. How? So we need to focus upon the flagship schemes, the food, the work, DBT, etc. So there are some examples which have been given. For example, in case of the public distribution system, we can give cash coupon option to the population. Those people who want cash coupon, they can get it, and we can also provide them protein rich food and the information about the benefit of protein in rich food, for example milk, eggs, etc. So this is possible in the PDS. In this way the people become not only food secure but also nutritious. There is a nutrition security also, right? Then in the MGNREGA we need to focus upon the skill development. When there is skill development, it leads to the exit of those people from the purview of MGNREGA. They can get work in any other area also, because in the MGNREGA the work is provided only to the unskilled person. Secondly, the material ratio should be relaxed. So originally in the MGNREGA material can't be exceeding a particular limit. So this material ratio should be relaxed and the contractor should be allowed, so that there is a quality in the creation of assets. So quality asset creation happens with the help of these two initiatives. Then we need to focus upon the JAM Trinity, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, to ensure that cash transfer is leakage free. And finally, at the Gram Panchayat level, in the rural areas, each Gram Panchayat should identify the 5 poorest families of the village and should ensure that all the government benefits are reaching to those families, and in the 5 years time those families become the APL family, that is above the poverty line, right? So with this right strategy we can eliminate the poverty from India. We can have a poverty free India, we can have a prosper India, we can have a happy India, and that is a goal that each one of us has. That is a dream that each one of us cherishes. So thank you very much.